Your hands, I don't know if you want to ask a question or you are confirming that you can hear me. Okay, thank you very much for the confirmation. I am back. I missed you guys. For those who don't know me, my name is Mrs. Mahanse Mereki, one of your lecturers. Um, yes. There's somebody who said they don't have sound. I don't know what could be the issue from your side if you cannot hear me, because most of the students can hear me. Please try, if you don't have sound on your side, please try to restart or increase the volume. Maybe the problem is on your side. Yes, thank you, Petile. Yes, so today we will be doing price elasticity. Are you guys ready? Are you enjoying the assignment of price elasticity? Do you at least understand what is elasticity based on the assignment that is due very soon? Thumbs up if you have any idea what's going on. Okay, thank you, Lebalang. Oh, sorry, Muiponi. Sorry, Muiponi. Maybe there are a lot of like Muiponi and Muitumelo who don't understand. Let's hope after today's lesson, it will be better. Ne? All right. With your permission, I am going to. Oh, sorry. Oh, yes, thank you. There is also Mr. Leroux, who is our technique today. Thank you for starting to record the classes, Mr. Leroux. Righty, let's start then. Okay. Okay, so in this topic of price elasticity, we're going to take a closer look at demand for good or service by investigating the relationship between the change in price and the change in quantity demanded. So as you can see, we have our two graphs there. The one on the left shows excess supply. Remember, this is just a recap, guys. I'm sure by now, if I were to wake you up, you'll know what is excess supply. Excess supply when the price is above the equilibrium. Excess demand when it's below the equilibrium, as it is shown here. Excess supply and excess supply, you know how to calculate it. And then excess demand as well, you know how to calculate it. So remember, so in this, we're trying to see that if price rise and fall, it indicates excess supply, which is a excess demand, which is a shortage, and excess supply, which is a surplus. So what do we do when price increase? What normally do you do if right now they tell you that a price of something increase? You can write there on the chats. What do you normally do? Okay. I am not getting any action. Yeah, we complain. We stop buying. Very true. Yes. Remember, where are my girls? My girls and boys, who are the Mr. Sheen and Mr. Temus in the house? Are you guys here? Remember, a lot of us, we were buying our products, we were importing them. Ne? And then SARS was like, hello, I will introduce import duty. So what import duty did, it increased the price. So now a lot of people, they complain that, okay, you find that you buy in your cart, you spend 1,000, but import duty is like, no, my dear, you'll pay 500 more just so that the stuff can come here. And then what happens? People started an online petition. It goes back to what there's somebody who said complain here. So when the price is less, it's either we buy less, we complain. But there are other products that it doesn't matter whether you complain or not. You will still buy it no matter what, like medication. Or do you stop studying because fees go up? No. Do you stop coming to school because petrol taxi fare has increased or petrol has increased? No. Yes, like salt. It doesn't matter, guys. Even spices, it doesn't matter that you buy it. And then we have our brews and ladies there with their bubbles and their Heineken and whatever. That even beer, it does not matter how much the price of alcohol will be. Even if it increases, Syntax, they increase it every single year, but people still buy. So today we're gonna be learning to the difference in that, what types of those products, or if the product is like a beer, what is it? Is it inelastic, perfectly inelastic? So yes. Oh yes, not to mention the price of eggs. There are a whole lot of things. Yes. Now, which one of the following would upset you the most? Will it be an increase in petrol or an increase in the price of ice cream? Yeah. Okay. Yes, most of you are saying petrol. And then next, why are most people upset? Okay, since almost you saying petrol, why are most people upset if the price of petrol rises than if the price of ice cream rises? Is it the government's fault that the petrol increase? Is it extremely difficult for people to decrease the quantity of petrol they use? Is it easier to decrease the quantity of ice cream than they bought? Exactly. Thank you, Mohabi. It is difficult to reduce the quantity of petrol because petrol, we need it. Petrol is a necessity. It's like electricity. We all know the electricity tariff, it was increased. Now we have not been experiencing load shedding because they tried other ways of a solution, which it means tariff increases. Um, so now I want to go back because there is no, thank you, Princess, you are right. There is no substitute for petrol, electricity, and things like that. Yeah, all right. Okay. And also, it is easier to eat less ice cream than to use petrol. As the price of petrol increase, it is very difficult to reduce the quantity of petrol we demand. That is probably why we get more upset if the price of petrol increases. Okay, this is a recap from the concept of elasticity. Ne? Remember? Recap. Yes. So looking at our graph, ne? Um, let's start with A. What happens to the quantity demanded here if the price increases from P3 here to P4? What happens to the quantity demanded if the price increase? Come, give me my answers. Okay, I'm loving the responses. I'm loving the responses. Okay. Um, so if the price of petrol increase from 3 rand to 4 rand, the quantity demanded, remember our quantity demanded at 3 rand when the price is P3, it is Q3. Now, when the price increases, goes up, it is the quantity demanded decreases from Q3 to Q2. Correct. You see, I'm loving this because you guys know that I can see that you understand your work. Number two, what happens to the quantity demanded if the price decreases from P4 to P2? Give me the answers. Give me my answers. What happens to quantity demanded? Yes. Correct. So if the price decreases from P4 to P2, the quantity demanded increases since there's an inverse relationship that exists between price and quantity demanded. Remember from lesson one when we were talking about the characteristics of the relationship between price and quantity in a demand curve. Okay, so now with the concept of a price elasticity of demand, the big question we have is by how much would the quantity demanded change if price were to change? So we're trying to establish the big question. Right. So the to check the impact of the change in price. So the price elasticity of demand, it is the concept of price elasticity of demand gives us a measure of how sensitive or responsive quantity demanded it is to change in price of a good or services. Ne? It measures the sensitivity or how do you respond to something when price change? Remember in the beginning we made example about the petrol and ice cream. You guys said that because petrol there's no substitute. So now you said that petrol you would buy regardless of it increase or the price increase or decrease because it does not have substitute. So now putting that in mind, so with price elasticity, we are checking how sensitive or how do you respond to the quantity demanded if there were to be a change in price. So an increase in supply will decrease the price. Looking at our graph here on the right, ne? So we see here the price was 4 rand and then it went down to 2 rand. Ne? So leading to an increase in supply. So an increase in supply will decrease the price from 4 rand to 2 rand because now there's a lot of surplus of something. So obviously, if there's a lot of supplier, they supply more of a product, it becomes cheaper. For example, when the most cars they enter the market, they are very expensive, like if there's a new car, Audi Q3 enters the market, the first one to get it, it's very expensive. But if the same model, you you buy it maybe after 2 years or so. There's gonna be a lot of those models, Q3, Q3, let's say model 2018. Now it is cheaper than it was in 2018 because in 2018 there was only limited one. So now I'm explaining the increase in supply. So with price elasticity, a change in price. This triangle, my friends, ne? It's a change. When you see my slide, you see this triangle. Remember, it is a change. It's also like that in your study guide. So the change in price leads to change in quantity demanded as it is shown here. Ne? Now, what is elasticity? Elasticity is the measure of responsiveness or sensitivity. How responsive a dependent variable is to changes in independent variable. All right, now let's do activity number 1 in your study guide. All right, true or false? Number A, the price elasticity of demand provides us with a measure of sensitive or responsive the price of good or service is to change in demand. Okay. There's a mix of Emily, I will take your call at Tsakani. I can take your hand now. We'll answer your questions at the end. I see your hand is raised. Okay. Now, so this statement, it's false. So price elasticity, it provides a measure of how sensitive or responsive quantity demanded is to the change in price of a good or service. Note that the causality is from a change in price to a change in quantity demanded. Got that? Now, number 2. B, if you know what price elasticity of petrol is, you will know how sensitive or responsive quantity demanded of a petrol is to a change in price of petrol. So if you know what the price elasticity of petrol is, remember price elasticity, it measures how sensitive or how responsive quantity demanded is to the change in price. Remember the example we made of petrol and ice cream, that if the price of petrol increases, quantity demanded doesn't change as much as if the price of ice cream would increase. Put that in mind. So always ensure that you understand the price elasticity. So now this question is saying, if you know what price elasticity of petrol is, you will know how sensitive or responsive quantity demanded of a petrol is to the change in the price of petrol. So the answer is true. You need to know what will happen to quantity demanded of petrol if the price of petrol increases. Number C, if you know what the price of elasticity of petrol is, all you will be able to say is that an increase in the price of petrol will reduce the quantity of petrol demanded. Okay, I'm getting mostly false. Guys, I hope you are, it's not a guessing thing, my friends, ne? I want you to pass. I hope you really understand. So yes, it is false. If you know the value for number C, if you know the value of price elasticity of petrol, you need to be able to say by how much the quantity demanded will change in relation to the given change in price. You already know from the law of demand that an increase in price reduces quantity demanded. Okay, we are running out of time. So I will think let's just skip some questions. Let's go straight to H. Guys, please do this on your own, ne? D, E, F. Do this on your own because time is not our side, and this lesson is fully packed, ne? In fact, I want us to focus on the next question. Please do the rest on your own, eh? My friends. Yes. Let's study the graphs. This is number 1.2 of activity 1. So looking at the graphs, which diagram represent what we are going to measure through price elasticity? Which diagram? You can just type A or B. Which diagram um, in your understanding, the correct one, represent what we are going to measure through price elasticity. Remember, price elasticity measures the responsiveness or sensitivity of quantity demanded if there's a change in price. Ne? Remember that in mind. Okay, correct. Most of you, if you said diagram B, you are correct. So, because in diagram B, we see that we have an increase in price due to a decrease in supply. So as the price increases, it moves from 1 rand to 2 rand. So as the price increases, an upward movement along the demand curve, upward movement along the demand curve. Initially we were here at P1, Q1. So now there's a movement along the curve. So it takes place, which leads to a decrease in quantity demanded. It is this impact of change in price of quantity demanded that we will measure. when you look at diagram A, it represents the impact of a change in quantity demanded. Um, sorry, this diagram A, it represents the impact of change in demand. Change in demand, we can see here, our D curve, change in demand on the price and quantity, not what we will measure. Okay. So the measurement, how then do we measure the price elasticity of demand? So the price of good or service, so if the price of good or service were to increase by 5 rand, ne? While the quantity demanded decreased by 5 rand. Would you say the price increase was big, small, or you need more information to make judgment? Number two, so if the price of good or service, if the price of an iPhone, for example, were to increase by 5 rand, will the quantity, will the quantity demanded decrease by 1,000? Would you say that the decrease in quantity demanded is big, small, or we need more information? So the correct answer is that we need more information than just only knowing the absolute change, unless we know what the basis is on which these changes have taken place. We cannot say whether it is big or small. We need to determine the relative changes in order to answer the question. In other words, we need to know the percentage change in price and quantity before we make the judgment. Remember, in the previous slides, in the beginning slides, when we were making our example, that if price were to increase from 3 rand to 4 rand, what will happen to quantity demanded? We say that we want to check with elasticity. The concept of price elasticity of demand is that we want to see by how much will the quantity demanded change if price were to change. No. So this also states that we need to know, it's similar to what we said in the previous slides, that we need to know the percentage change in price and quantity before you can make a judgment. Now, here's another one. So we are told that the price of good increases by 5 rand, which is 100% increase in the price. While quantity demanded decreased by 1,000, which is 1% decrease in quantity demanded. In this case, would you say the price increase is big, small? Need more information? Would you say the decrease in quantity demanded? Remember the first one we check the price increase. Now we say, okay, the decrease in quantity demanded is big, small, or we need more information. So there's no doubt that increase in price is big because we are told that increase by 100%, okay? Which is, we see here, the price of good increased by 500, which is 100% increase in price. While the decrease in quantity demanded is slow, is small, is 1%. Let's get this. Here is what's this? You see this, my friends? You see this apple, Yeah, it is visible. Here is an apple. Basically, what this question is saying is that, okay, this apple increases by 5 rand, which is 100% increases by 5 rand, which is 100% increase in the price. So if by 100% increase in the price, it means by another 5 rand. So now it's no more 5 rand, it is 10 rand. So the price increased by 100%. It has doubled. It has more than. And then we are told that the quantity demanded the number of the amount of apples you eat, it didn't change. It only changed by 1% decrease. So this goes back to the example we made about the petrol, that sometimes even if some good or service can go up, but depending on which item it is, it doesn't necessarily affect quantity demanded that much. So this information that shows us the percentage change is what we needed, and it's what was not provided in the on the left example, the left side example. Right. Okay. Like I said, once we know this percentage changes, it is possible to measure price elasticity through the price elasticity coefficient. Now we're going to be talking about coefficient. All right. So the price elasticity coefficient gives us a measure of how sensitive or responsive quantity demanded of a good or service is to the change in price. So if we know the percentage change, like we did in the previous example, remember the percentage change in price, they had said it's 100% from 5 rand, increase of 100%. Remember in the previous slide. So now they say if we know what the percentage change in price and percentage change in quantity demanded are, we can calculate price elasticity coefficient using this formula. This is how we calculate price elasticity. Ne? It is the percentage change in quantity demanded divided by percentage change in price. Quantity, price. Quantity, price. Remember. Please memorize it, my friends. Ne? QP. Quantity demanded, percentage change in price, percentage change in quantity demanded over price. QP. Ever? QP. So sometimes one of you say that they're struggling with formula. Sometimes if you're struggling with formula, you don't know what is asked going. Make it easy for you. Make it relatable. Or price elasticity. Maybe you can say, percentage change in quantity demanded, percentage change in price, make it something that you will always remember, and always try to understand what is being asked. Like in the previous question, this one, they told us that the price of, in our example, the price of apple increases by 5 rand, which is 100% increase in price. So, it's like more. However, the quantity demanded didn't change that much. It only changed by a 1% decrease. Okay. So using symbols, this is written as follows. EP is our price elasticity. So therefore, percentage change in quantity demanded divide by a percentage change in price. Like I said, guys, in my slides, you're going to see a lot of these triangles and QD. Ne? Remember, triangle, it's change. Triangle, it's change. QD, quantity demanded. And then P, it is price. So using the data in our example, the previous slides that I just showed you now, where the price increased by 100% and the quantity demanded decreased by 1%, the price elasticity of a good, it is, then you slot in your numbers. 1, remember this is quantity demanded, percentage change in quantity demanded, we are told it decreased by 1%, and then percentage change in price, we are told that the price of, in our example, the price of apple, it increased by 5 rand, which was 100% increase. So therefore, our coefficient, it is 0.01. Now, we are going to use this example to calculate. Please, guys, because of time, like I said, today's lesson is fully packed. Some of the things, please, when I say homework, go do it on your own after class to ensure that you understand. Because when you write your assignment, you are writing it alone, my friends. So yes. So if the price increases, so we are given this table here. So at 8, if the price at 8 rand, quantity demanded is 100. At 10 rand, quantity demanded goes low, it is 90. We can already see that, okay, our demand curve will be like this. Remember? The negative relationship between price and quantity. When the price is high, our quantity demanded is 90. But when the price is low, our quantity demanded increases. Ne? So if the price increase from 8 rand to 10 rand, what is percentage increase in price? So the difference, it is 2 rand, and percentage increase, it is 25%. So this is calculate. So when you calculate percentage change, ne, you're gonna want the difference first. So the change here. So this 2 rand, they got it by saying, okay, the 10 rand minus 8 rand, and then over the 8 rand. So it is the current price. Let's say the way I understand, if I to calculate what's this, the change in price. So the current price, it is 10 rand. Remember, according to this, the current price 10 rand. So you say current minus initial. So the initial price was 8 rand. So current minus initial over initial. Current minus initial over initial. 10 minus 8 in brackets, divide by 8. 8 is our initial price at 2 rand. So, and then you times it by 100. That's how they got to 25%. Got it? You got how we calculate percentage change? Okay. Silence means consent. I hope you guys got it, Current minus initial over initial, Yes. So, they ask us, what is the percentage decrease in quantity demanded if the price increases from 8 rand to 10 rand? So if the price were to increase from 8 rand to 10 rand, we can see here, we can see here that the quantity demanded decreases by 10 units. Again, the price initially it was 8 rand, quantity demanded was 100. And then when the price is 90, quantity demanded went down to, sorry, when the price is 10 rand, quantity demanded, it's 90. So the units, it is 10. So the percentage change in QD, it is 10%. So now, what is the price elasticity coefficient using the answers above? So with this, use the information I just gave you and calculate the price elasticity coefficient. Just give me a random number on the chats. Calculate. I agree you have a percentage change in price, and then you have a percentage change in quantity demanded. Remember, elasticity, we calculated by the percentage change in quantity demanded over percentage change in price. Quantity demanded, price, QP, QP. Okay, I'm loving the answers. I can't see all of them at once. Yes. So the correct answer, yes, it is 0.4. So if you plot it. So if your homework, if you must do this same exercise, ne? But assume that the prices decrease from 10 rand to 8 rand. You will obtain the same price elasticity coefficients as the previous example that used an increase in price. Do the calculations to see your answer. My friends, my beautiful students, no, Kati, so this number can be a negative. Price coefficient can be negative. Remember, it's percentage change, and you see how they are calculated here. So if you take 10% divided by 25%, you get 0.4. Yeah. So please note, for each and every activity, there are answers in the study guide. However, you see here, I put it's in bold. You know, bold. I just didn't want to do caps lock because it was going to be a lot. It's bold, it's in red. Please, my friends, I beg you, attempt to do the question first before looking at the solution. Remember, this is for you. You are testing yourself if you really understand this thing. The answers, yes, they are there in the study guide. If you read your study guides, all answers of the activities they are provided in the study guide. But I am begging you, please to attempt the thing, attempt it continuously first before looking at the solution, and go do your homework, ne? Yeah. All right. And this is another homework as well, activity 2. Remember, I said we are running out of time. So I'm loving you guys because I'm leaving you guys with a lot of homeworks to ensure that you understand. So now we look at different price elasticities. Ne? Looking at our example here, ne? We see that, okay, price coefficient for salt is 0.1, matches, electricity is it's still low. And then when we look on this side, sorry, shoes is high, is close to 1. And then goods such as beef, restaurant, lamb, mutton, for sure those who eat caviar, you know, like it's those luxurious goods, you know. The coefficients here, they are high. So now we are told that price elasticity of 0.1 for the salt indicates that 1 percentage change in price of salt will result in 1 percentage change in quantity demanded. You are still following, my friends, ne? And then when we look at fresh tomatoes, okay, we can see that fresh tomatoes coefficient is 4.6. Ne? Price elasticity of 4.6 for fresh tomatoes indicates that 1 percentage change in price. So if price were to increase by 1 percentage change, it will cause 4.6% of quantity change, 4.6 percentage change in quantity demanded. Remember my triangles, I did say that this triangle is percent, it's a change. QD, quantity demanded, QD, yes. So if we were to look at restaurants, ne, it means that for the price elasticity of 2.27 for restaurant meals, it indicates, so this indicates if the coefficient is 2.27, it indicates that a 1% increase in change in price will cause a 2.27 percentage change in quantity demanded. Remember, coefficient and the elasticity coefficient measure the responsiveness of how is price responsive to the quantity demanded. Responsiveness, how do you respond to that? So now we are being told here a 1% increase, ne, it will change. So this, if price were to increase by 1%, it means that this coefficient, it will cause, if we make example of beef, it will cause 1.27 percentage change in quantity demanded. Oh, can I drink water? Thank you. So a change, looking at this, a change in price of salt has a smaller effect on quantity demanded, because quantity demanded will only change by 0.1% for salt. When we look at shoes, quantity demanded will change by 0.9%. So yeah, a change in price of salt has smaller effect on quantity demanded, and consumers are less responsive. They are less sensitive to the change in price of salt. Like our earlier example, sorry, fuel. Remember, we made example of fuel, that if you were to choose between fuel and ice cream, if the prices increase of ice cream and fuel, which one will be much more sensitive? Some people, which one will make you hurt or angry? Some people said that no, you don't care about, even if ice cream increase, you can consume something else. However, with the petrol, you cannot. So the quantity demanded won't change that much because you still need it. So we were checking there the sensitivity. How sensitive are you as a consumer to change in your quantity demanded would be if there was to be a change in price. Yes. So now looking at our formula, remember it's percentage change in quantity demanded divided by percentage change in price. QP, remember of UP. You understand that QP is close to UP? So maybe you can, if you were to remember, oh, coefficient. Okay. Quantity demanded, price. QP, UP, QP, UP. You see, it's rhyming. Ne? Yeah. So then remember, coefficient is percentage change in quantity demanded. Quantity demanded, QD, over percentage change in price. So please always remember that. Know your formulas, understand them. So now we are looking the difference between price elasticities. We have three price elasticities, the key ones that we're going to be discussing, and then later on we'll discuss the two theoretical ones, and I'll also be providing examples. So when the percentage change in price, it is greater than percentage change in elasticity, the price will be less than 1. For example, this means just looking at our formula. So if the bottom part, which is percentage change in price, is greater, let's say it is 2. Let's say percentage change in price is 2, and then of which is greater than percentage change in quantity demanded, it's 1. 1 divided by 2, it is, yes, class, 0.5. So the elasticity will be less than 1. So as long as when you look at your formula, after you calculate, you see that, oh, remember coefficient, remember, I want you to remember. Coefficient, QD, UP. UP, how is it UP? Percentage change in quantity demanded divided by percentage change in price. So if the percentage change in price is greater than percentage change in quantity demanded, then the price elasticity coefficient is less than 1. This applies to things such as salt, medical services, fuel, electricity, beer, shampoo. People who love their bubbles, they buy them. It doesn't matter how expensive they are. In fact, some people, they like those most expensive ones. They brag about them, you know. Um, okay. Now, okay, if the price if the percentage change in price is smaller than the percentage change in quantity demanded, the price elasticity will be lower. So we see here, understand this smaller sign. So if percentage change in price, it is greater than percentage change in quantity demanded, our coefficient is less than 1. Remember with the example that I just said about if this percentage change in price is 2, and this percentage change in quantity demanded is 1, yes, coefficient will be 1. Remember how we calculate coefficient? UP, QD over P, percentage change in quantity demanded by percentage change in price. Yes. Now, if the percentage change in price is smaller than quantity demanded, then the price elasticity of coefficient is greater than 1. For example, if they say, okay, percentage change in price, it is, remember percentage change in price is the bottom, guys. It's, if you're doing your sandwich, know that this one goes on the bottom. Percentage change in coefficient, UP, percentage change in quantity demanded divided by percentage change in price. So if this bottom one, it's less than the top one. So if we are told that percentage change in price, it is 1. And then percentage change in quantity demanded, it is 3. 3 divided by 1, it is 3, which is greater than 1. So a coefficient will be greater than 1. So yes, thank you, Mr. LaRue. So they said this applies to such things as private education, restaurant meals, and fresh tomatoes. But however, with private education, it has been fixed. So we'll just say this relates to restaurant meals and your luxurious, expensive food like caviar, and you see those fancy ones they eat there in those expensive restaurants. Now, let's do activity 3. You are given the following: private education 1.1, the elasticity name. Looking at this table above, indicate which goods and services as the percentage change greater than 1. Oh, sorry. Okay, sorry. Indicate which goods and services is the percentage change in price greater than percentage change in quantity demanded, and for which is the change in price smaller than the change in quantity demanded. Guys, please attempt to do this exercise. We are running out of time, so I'll just rush. Today's lesson is packed. All right. So using the formula for price elasticity, remember price elasticity, UP, QD over P, percentage change in quantity demanded divided by percentage change in price. So the percentage change in price is greater than the percentage change in quantity demanded for electricity. Here it is 1.3 and fuel it is 0.6, giving a smaller value less than 1. So these ones, they give a smaller value of less than 1. For private education and restaurant, it is greater than 1. The value is greater than 1. Please do number B at home. Ne? All right. Now we are looking at relatively inelastic demand. So we say we have an inelastic demand of good or service when percentage change in price is greater than percentage change in quantity demanded. Ne? So in the price of elasticity table, looking at this table, you can find it in your study guides. The relative inelastic demands are things such as salt, medical care, petrol, and so forth, your bubbles, where elasticity coefficient is less than 1. So it is when, remember this, when the percentage change in price, it is greater than percentage change in quantity demanded. Therefore, coefficient will be 1. So now what this means is that the quantity demanded is not highly sensitive to the change in price. Remember our initial example of the price of the, petrol, we did early in the first lesson. And then, so relative inelastic demand. So now we are plotting it. Here is the graph of relative inelastic demand. Remember the wording, my friends. Remember the wording. Ne? I even put it here in red for you in case you forget. It's when percentage change in price is greater than percentage change in quantity demanded. Ne? It means that even if something were to increase by remember our example of the apple being 5 rand and percentage increase is 100%, but the quantity demanded decreased by only 1%. So, looking at our great example, ne? We are told that there's a 10.5% increase in price. So it reduces quantity demanded by 5.1 percent. So the lower price elasticity demand, the steeper the demand curve. We see that our demand curve, sorry, it's like this is much steeper because of the lower the price elasticity of demand, the steeper the demand curve. Okay, remember we were doing inelastic. Inelastic. Now we are doing relatively elastic. Inelastic. Guys, do you know what is elastic? I just don't have a ribbon here. Let's see. Okay, I just want to make basic examples. Oh, hold on. Right. Good. Can you guys all see this? I don't know what it's called. Ne? This belt thingamabob is for exercising. Ne? It doesn't stretch that much. It's inelastic. Yeah, what it's elastic. It's like that. I'm making an example. Remember that rubber you get at KFC when you buy your hot wings, that those salty hot wings, spicy ones, that rubber, elastic. It's very elastic, that one. It's very stretchy, you know. This one, on the other hand, see, inelastic. So within uh, elastic, we are told, this is recap, my friends, with relatively inelastic, we are told that percentage change in price is always greater than percentage change in quantity demanded. Price greater than quantity demanded. P bigger than U. P bigger than U. Remember our UP? Yes. It's inelastic. Now we are doing the elastic one. Elastic one, think about that rubber from, is it chicken leg? Yes, chicken leg. They put your foot in a rubber, in a elastic mousse. So it's very elastic, that rubber. Yes. So the relative, now coming back to economics, ne? Because I want you guys, the reason why I'm using examples that you see every day, I want you so that your studying should not be only limited in class. So that even when you are outside, some of the things should be like, oh, relative elastic. You should be practicing even when you buy your food, ne? Or when you're going to gym, you are using this, ne? Yeah, inelastic, relative inelastic, ne? Now we are doing relative elastic demand of goods and services. Now we are told that percentage change in price, it is less than percentage change in quantity demanded. Therefore, our coefficient, it is greater than 1. Ne? Remember our coefficient formula, UP. Now we are told that U, it is QD, percentage change in price. We are told that no, U is greater than P. So obviously, if percentage change in price in a quantity demanded is greater, it's like 5. Maybe this one is 2. Then it means 5 divided by 2 is 3. It's greater than 1. So example as provided in, remember our table, the slide, example could be your caviar restaurant meals, those nice goods that you have. Now we look at the graph. Remember our graph with relative inelastic. Remember with relative inelastic, our graph was steeper. But now when you look at this graph, it is more It is more like this. It is more flatter in comparison to that one. The inelastic graph is steeper. The elastic graph, it is flatter. Elastic graph, plastic from the rubber from, what's that place? I just forgot it, the chicken place. Yes. Now, we are told that a 10% increase in price decreases the quantity demanded by 29%. Now we are looking at unitary elastic demand. When the two are the same, when our U and P are the same, it is when we have unitary elastic demand. So, looking at this is the graph. So it means that whether if the price of maybe a shoe were to increase by 10.5%, there's a chance that quantity demanded will decrease by that much. Ne? This is a recap. Remember, 3 ones. Relatively inelastic, this one. Relative inelastic, it means it's not responsive that much to quantity demanded. Remember, elasticity, we're checking the responsiveness of price to the changes in quantity demanded. Ne? So with inelastic, it means that if price were to increase by 50%, ne, it doesn't really change. The quantity demanded doesn't change that much. It's inelastic, relatively price inelastic. And then unitary product is when our U and P are the same. Percentage change in quantity demanded and percentage change in price, they are the same. Our coefficient will be 1. And then relative elastic is when elastic, remember that rubber from that place, I keep forgetting the name, the chicken place that sell hot stuff. Yeah. Remember, elastic, it means that small change in price, it might leave. Yeah, thank you very much, Mipon. Yo, chicken leg. Yo, thank you. I've been forgetting that the wording. Yes. So it's elastic, that one. Ne? Smaller change in price might lead to a big change in quantity demanded. Remember our people who eat caviar and those luxurious food, if they say it increases, you don't really have to use it, like if you can't afford it. So now next step, we look at perfectly inelastic and perfectly elastic. Ne? Guys, please drill this in your head, ne? Because sometimes some of this wording might confuse you. Remember, relative price inelastic. That's one. Our UP, ne? Percentage change in price is greater than percentage change in quantity demanded. I feel like I've been saying this a lot. Now we look at the perfectly inelastic demand. Remember, inelastic is when the responsiveness in price does not cause that much change in quantity demanded. Let's say this is your quantity demanded. They say price has increased. Yeah, what? This one, it doesn't stretch that much. I hope you won't forget. You'll remember my silly examples, ne? Yes, so the formula, it means that the percentage change in quantity demanded, it is 0. So it doesn't matter how much the price increase, any number, you can say 0 divided by 5, it's 0, Yes. So this example of this is people who are on chemotherapy, some medical illnesses where even if they say the price increases by how much, if you need that for your survival, you will use it no matter what. So that is the example of perfectly inelastic demand. There's perfectly inelastic, and then there's relatively price inelastic. Don't mix the two, ne? Thank you. Now we look at perfectly elastic. Remember, there's relatively price elasticity. Relatively price elasticity is that one, chicken leg in. the responsiveness to quantity demanded is higher. Now, do not confuse the two. Now we are looking at perfectly elastic demand. So when a small change in price has a big major impact on quantity demanded. So smaller than a change in price might, like, the quantity demanded might be big. Sorry that I'm rushing. We don't have much time. I trust that you will do this activity on your own. Yeah, yes, we don't have time, my friends. Now, we are looking at elasticity along a linear demand curve. Ne? So, when the price decreases from 8 to 7, our coefficient, it is greater than 1. Remember, what did we say when what happens? I'm sorry, it's a lot of work. I'm sorry. I sympathize with you. I know. So that's why we are using Gautrain Speed Train right now. That's why most of the activities, I'm entrusting them to you. All right. Relative elastic. Chicken licken, that elastic band. Ne? Relative elastic. Yes. So it means that percentage change in price might lead to the responsiveness in quantity demanded. It is higher than unitary elastic. It's that one where the change in price is equals to change in quantity demanded. Relatively inelastic. Remember this purple thingamabob. Yeah, whatever it's called in English. This rubber, elastic, it's inelastic. Ne? Relative inelastic. It means that percentage change in price, it is greater than percentage change in quantity demanded. We can see it here, So the price decreased from 2 rand to 1 rand, and the quantity, the price elasticity is 0.2. In this low price range and high price range, the percentage in price, it is high. Okay. Remember, very important, examine the data, not the graph. Don't rely on the graph. Look at the numbers. Know your numbers. Slot them in. Calculate coefficient. Remember, our coefficient is UP, our sister university. Remember. Okay, now we are coming to the end, my friends. Note that price elasticity of demand gives us a measure of responsiveness to change in price. Measure of how do you respond to this thing, the big question. It is therefore closely related, but not at the same as the slope in demand. The slope in the water, sorry. The slope of the demand curve is calculated from absolute changes in quantity and price. We are running. Okay, this is the takeaway. Guys, don't fry me. You are busy frying me there in the comments. Guys, I love you so much. Don't fry me, ne? Please. It's economics. This is varsity level now. We are not using Shosholoza. How train? Yes. Takeaway. Always remember when you study, have this thing in mind that, okay, what am I taking away from this lesson? You go to Mag and Bean, you go to, what's this, coffee or what? You always take your takeaway. Footy, some of you go to weddings and funerals. You take away the biscuits and the what. Ne? So even apply the same method you apply out there when you are eating. Let's apply it in class. What is the takeaway from today? What is price elasticity of demand? Price elasticity, remember elasticity, the responsiveness or sensitivity of a change in price to a change in quantity demanded. Ne? 3 types of elasticity, my friends. We have relative price elasticity, and then a unitary elasticity is when coefficient is zero, and then we have relatively price inelastic. Inelastic, this one, I don't know this thing in English. And then the elastic one, that rubber from chicken licken. Yes, This is what you are taking away today. Even if you can forget anything else, I know you won't forget my silly examples because they're very silly. And then we have the two theoretical elasticities. Ne? Two theoretical elasticities, it's perfectly inelastic and perfectly elastic. Remember, perfectly inelastic. I even made example of chemotherapy that even if the price increase, yes, the quantity demanded won't change that much. The sensitivity, it won't change that much. Ne? Um, you must know this formula. You see this formula here of infinity. Yeah, it's in the it's the hip and happening. People like drawing it on their hands. Know it. This one, ne? It's perfect because I was gonna ask you, but because of time, you can even hear I am running. Ne? Because of time. So the elasticity, it is infinity. It's going along. Guys, know how to calculate percentage change in price. I beg of you, ne? Percentage change in quantity demanded. There's also arc elasticity there in your study guide. I trust you guys to do it. Please, I beg you, master your calculations, master them. Don't always, when you understand something, even if the question can be posed somehow, they ask you about the leg of a person. If you know a person, you will know who's the person, eh? Right. I did this nice takeaway from you. Perfectly inelastic, perfect elastic. So perfectly inelastic, the remember inelastic. Yes, it doesn't stretch that much. It doesn't stretch that much. So this is perfectly inelastic. So example of perfectly inelastic is what I made of chemotherapy or any health or insulin for diabetes. That it doesn't matter if the price were to increase, that good will always the quantity demanded won't change that much. Sorry, perfect elastic. Example, it is I get it. Perfect elastic is like this. When you look at the graph, perfect elastic is like this. Quantity demanded, it doesn't change that much, ne? And then perfect elastic, the demand curve indicates that consumers are highly sensitive to the price. Right now, if they say that basic commodity like pap, pap increases, the price might change. So perfect elastic demand are homogeneous products because they have substitute. So if Ace is expensive, you're gonna go buy boobies or whatever, because there's a substitute for that. Remember the coefficient of perfect elastic. Elastic. Remember that rubber from Chicken Licken? Yes, perfect elastic. So remember the 8 that is sleeping. You see that it's 8 that is sleeping here, ne? All right. And then relatively elastic. Relatively elastic. I will make example of relative elastic. It is Netflix or DSTV. It's like your subscription. What happened when the price of DSTV increase? Most of the people left the market. Most of you say, "Who there on TikTok? Who I am glad I left DSTV. I'm using it to buy data to listen to your influencers." I guess. So you say that. So when you think of DSTV, what happens with DSTV? Remember, relatively elastic. Ne? I want you to remember. Now, the unitary elastic example of that is like a fridge. So if the price of fridge increased by 30%, ne, the quantity demanded may or may not decrease by 30%. And then the last one, relatively inelastic, this thing, ne, in English, you see, doesn't stretch. This one. Example of this, it is petrol. Remember, we made this example in the beginning, my friends. Example, it's like staple food, bread, eggs. Somebody makes example with eggs. Is there substitute for eggs? No, my darling. This thing, water, is the substitute for water. I'm talking about normal tap water, not your fancy sparkling water. There's no substitute. So it's inelastic. And by you understanding the some of the goods that are relatively inelastic. It will help you understand this thing. Do not mix perfectly inelastic and relatively inelastic. I beg, ne? Okay, my friends, we are done. Yay! Finally. Thank you very much. I'm sorry for taking a lot of your time. Thank you, Miponi. When you are a star, resistant band. Guys, you are very clever in this class. You even teach me. So thank you very much for coming to class and bearing with me for going over 10 minutes. Remember my example. If you are planning to go to Chicken Licken, remember elastic. The responsiveness of quantity demanded is greater. This one, the resistance, it is not, it's inelastic. Inelastic, the responsiveness, it's not that much. Example, petrol, electricity. All right. Yabon. You see, I am loving it. I know that my examples are very silly, but it's those silly things that will make you understand chicken licking. Okay, bye guys. Leave and go practice elastic, inelastic, your calculations. Yes. Thank you. Yes, the class will be the recording is recorded. Oh, English, sorry. Sorry. The recordings will be posted on the recording will be posted on YouTube, not YouTube, module. Please, when you eat your chicken leg in, do this to that elastic. You will see it's stretching. It can stretch to the whole of Pretoria. Ne? It's the responsiveness when you stretch it. Thank you. I am breathing. Okay, guys, leave. Bye.